Okay, so not a lot of updates lately between Easter and typical yard stuff and house stuff. Just haven't really had time, but we have made a little progress on the tower. This is our basic structure. I posted pictures of my plate and everything earlier. I've got the legs welded up. Had to have somebody come out and weld those together for me last week. So that's all nice and stuck together. I've got to finish up the welding on the bottom frame, and then we're gonna have some crossbars right here, and then again up here, and probably in this center section there's gonna be some cross bracing. Really, once it's braced in those two places, it's really not gonna need much more. Did have a problem with it, and it really irks me. Really annoyed at this, but it slipped while welding, and I'm no longer center. It's not quite as off center as what it looks like, but it's off center enough that it annoys the fire out of me. I'll actually be able to use longer bolts in this, and I'll put 2 nuts on the inside, and I'll level the turbine on this using those nuts, and then more nuts on top. It's just not going to look quite as neat as what I'd really wanted. And as far off as it looks, center is right there, almost right where that cross is on my garage door, maybe a little bit lower. So it's going to be enough off center enough to see, but not off center enough to hold me back, and not off center enough to make it worth cutting it all apart and having somebody come out and weld it for me again. That was another thing. I had to wait until somebody could come and weld this for me. I could weld this pipe, but my welder is not hot enough to weld to this. This plate just sucks up all the heat my poor little welder can make, and it won't do it. We also have this. I had a couple of motorcycle frames and parts and stuff for some old CX 500s. I've had some of that on my channel before, some of my favorite bikes, but I wasn't getting to them, so I traded them for this. I've got about 250 feet, maybe a little bit more, of this stuff. This is all 10-3 wire, and then I've got about 70 feet of this. I hadn't coiled that back up. I was measuring it out. This is 8-3. Excuse me. My hope is that I'll be able to, my run going from the shop to my well house over here. Oh yeah, that's another thing. I found a new wind turbine. My run going from the shop to my well house is running 10 gauge solid wire, and if I hook the Heli 4 up to that and it hits maximum output, it's going to be taxing that wire pretty good if all the rest of my turbines are also kicking anything out. So I'm hoping to put this 8-3 going from my box to my well house, and then I'm going to run 10-3 out, and I'm going to put the Heli either further out past the Heli 2, or I'm going to put it right here in the middle. I'm kind of wishy-washy one way or the other. If I put it over here in the middle, I think it's going to get better wind, but structurally I like it better with the idea of it being in line with these two. We'll see. So, not much, but that's where we're at. Hope you guys all have a wonderful day.